Let's get it started with an upset in Raleigh. Final seconds, North Carolina State down 6 to third-ranked Florida State, but Mike Glennon finds Brian Underwood on 4th down. That's your game winner as the Wolfpack hand the Noles their first loss. It's number 5 versus number 6, Georgia and South Carolina. Big night for Connor Shaw finding Rory Anderson. This covers 14 yards. And the Gamecocks had the first 2 touchdowns on the board. How about some special teams later in the opening quarter? It's Ace Sanders fielding this punt, navigating through traffic and going 70 yards for the touch as South Carolina was up 21 after 1. And for the first time ever, they've beaten Georgia for 3 straight years. On the heels of the 35-7 thumping, Shaw spoke with Chris Lowe.
Now, you grew up in Georgia. 3 straight wins over Georgia. Never happened before in this series. How sweet is that for you?
It's special. It is special, but, we got to take it to LSU next week and just take it one game at a time.
Is this team mature enough? Have you guys sort of passed that hurdle of thinking you've arrived and just sort of keep looking ahead?
Absolutely. I think, we received hype in this game probably more than we ever will, and I think we handled it well, and I think we can handle it in the future as well.
Will Muschamp has his signature win as the Florida Gators held 4th-ranked LSU to just 8 first downs and 42 total rush yards. Florida, meantime, grinded this one out, closing the game with 24 straight runs. Mike Gillislee going for 146 and a pair of scores, and the Gators get their first win against a ranked team in 2 years. Edward Ashoff post-game with Florida safety Matt Elam.
To see this defense come out and play the way that it did, last year, giving up more than 200 yards of rushing to this LSU team, to hold them to just 42, what does that mean for you guys?
It means a lot. It was the plan to stop the run. I feel like we had to stop the run to win, and we did, and we was victorious by stopping the run. They smashed us in the mouth last year, you know what I'm saying? We had to come back and show that we wasn't soft, and like Coach, like he said last year, he called us a soft team. We had to respond and show them we're not soft.
Gillislee is in some rare company, joining a pair of NFL stars in Cam Newton and Darren McFadden as the only players to go for at least 140 and 2 touches against LSU's D since 2005. Meantime, the SEC East is no longer an afterthought. The Gators and Gamecocks have made sure of that. It's the subject of the national take from Chris Lowe.
The games today, with both the Gators and Gamecocks winning, send a clear message about the East, and that is that it's not just the West and everybody else in the SEC anymore. I think South Carolina is certainly a legitimate contender, Florida too. And the common denominator with both of those teams is they're physical, they're outstanding across the front defensively, they make plays in special teams, and boy, when it gets into the 4th quarter and the second half, they know how to finish football games.
So upsets for 3 of the top 5 teams. Welcome to College Football Final Extra. I'm Jim Basquil. As you just saw, the SEC had 2 of the 5 ranked matchups this week. One of those 5 games came from Austin, with 8th-ranked West Virginia visiting number 11 Texas. Geno Smith had his own tough act to follow. In his first Big 12 game, he rewrote the conference record book with 687 total yards of offense against Baylor. The Mountaineers churned out over 800 yards of offense, so the Longhorn D had a huge challenge. Let's check it out. There's Mr. Smith. He had West Virginia up a touchdown in the second, but the Texas D came to play. Alex Okafor, the sack of Smith. He coughs it up, and Jackson Jeffcoat is on it. Touchdown Longhorns. This game was even at 21. The 3rd quarter, Smith hooking up with Stedman Bailey. Second scoring strike for the duo. Smith threw for 4 scores. Andrew Bowie ran for 208, and it's West Virginia up to 5-0. It's only been 2 games, but so far Geno Smith has torn up the Big 12. Baylor and Texas would attest, with over 900 passing yards and a dozen touchdown passes without a single interception. Miami and Notre Dame meeting for the first time since 1990. Sierra Wood and George Atkinson III gave the Irish their first 100-yard rushing duo in a decade, while Everett Golson came off the bench to lead ND to a rout of the Canes, 41-3. The Irish are 5-0 for the first time since 2002 and are the first team since 1947 that did not trail in their first 5 games. Following the game, Matt Fortuna caught up with Manti Te'o.
Michigan State, Michigan, and Miami, you've all held without a touchdown in 3 straight games. What's the ceiling for this defense?
I think we're constantly striving to dominate each play, and we don't really worry about all that other stuff. We just want to dominate, and whatever that looks like, that's what we're gonna do.
Largest crowd ever at the Horseshoe, over 106 grand checking out Ohio State and Nebraska. That's Braxton Miller, second quarter on a fourth down, goes 31 yards for the touch. Buckeyes were up 35-24. How about some special teams play later in the third? Philly Brown fielding this punt and fighting his way through a maze, going 76 yards on the touch. The Buckeyes open up a 49-31 edge. Big night for Carlos Hyde. He had 4 touchdowns, puts on the finishing touches on a 63-point outburst for Ohio State as they improve to 6-0. Post-game, Adam Rittenberg with Bradley Roby, who had a pair of picks.
Your picks kind of came at a time where the offense was struggling a little bit. That obviously wasn't the case by the end of the night, but does it feel good as a defensive player to give them a little bit of a spark early in the game?
It's always good to give your offense a spark. I mean, when we're struggling, they give us a spark. We were struggling for a little while, and they kept scoring points. So it's just a team game, really, and we just want to make as much plays as we can for each other. It's not offense, defense. It's Ohio State Buckeyes. So.
Second-ranked Oregon getting Washington. Big night for Marcus Mariota. Had 4 scoring strikes. This one in the fourth to Colt Laurila as the Ducks put 52 points on the board. Their defense forcing 5 turnovers, and they improved to 6-0. Ted Miller has the postgame from Eugene.
You know, I know you guys prepare the same every week. You control your preparation, your attitude, your effort. I know all of the Oregon formulas. When you walked into the stadium tonight, did you feel a little bit more juiced because the Washington Huskies were there and your fans don't like them at all?
Yeah, you know, you feel a little juiced, but, you know, like you said, we try to take every game as a rivalry game. And but for myself, you know, this was the first game against the Huskies, and to go out there and you know, play the way we did as an offense, you know, it feels good.
Again, the nation's 3rd, 4th, and 5th ranked teams all go down on Saturday. Meantime, Penn State scored 3 touchdowns in the final 10 minutes to win their 4th straight and deny Northwestern a 6-0 start for the first time in 50 years. Taj Boyd threw for a career-high 397 as Clemson took out Georgia Tech 47-31. You can check out those highlights and much more right here on ESPN.com. That'll do it, though, for College Football Final Extra. I'm Jim Basquil. We hope to have you back next week.